Alright, so this job is just this one side of the house. It's I think this is the north side, yeah, and I've done most of it, but the job here is to it was to remove as much of the old paint as possible because it had bubbled up due to the coating on top of that pink primer. I think it's an old primer. The next coat didn't adhere properly, and as a result there were quite a lot of bubbles everywhere, and you know, that's a sign of poor adhesion. So the way I've done it is you can see it's pretty rough, and that's because I used the paint shaver. It's a machine that sort of removes the, you know, whatever layers of paint. You know, I can adjust the thickness and whatever, but obviously this is not good enough surface to paint, and this is cedar, so it's a very soft wood. It's durable, but soft. So, you know, the idea is to get it smooth, and to do that, I'm going to use the sander, orbital sander, and so that will make it ready to paint. All that stuff has already been done, but just there's a little fence here, so I have to do this from the other side. There's going to be a few touch-ups and whatever. The windows aren't quite finished yet, but so I'm just want to show you what needs to be done if this is the job that you want to do. You know, like if you want to make sure that, like, okay, so if you got an old weatherboard house, which is like decades old or 100 years old or whatever, this one is about 100 years old, then you should avoid, as best as possible, try to avoid replacing the weatherboards. At least if you're going to replace the old weatherboards with pine, that is a terrible idea, because pine weatherboards don't last, and you know, this old stuff, the cedar, I mean, there's a few pieces of rot, you know, where water can't, just has got nowhere to go, and you know, especially this side doesn't get any sort of sun, so it's got no chance to dry out. There's a little bit of rot down there, but otherwise it's in very good condition. there's very little rot, and you know, when you've got, if you replace it with pine, and then you've got to do a very good job, very thorough job in terms of back priming and priming all the cut edges and everything, to make sure it will last a reasonable amount of time, whereas this stuff is very forgiving, the old cedar. But anyway, so what we're going to do is, you know, this has been shaved off, the paint has been shaved off, so now we're going to just give it a good sand with the machine, and then I will wash it, everything, because the eaves also need to be washed, and the gutters, because those are not getting painted. I'll just wash everything, and with a bit of sugar soap as well, and you know, just still remove a bit more whatever's left over in terms of wood fibre residue and whatever, and that will make the wood fibres stand up, you know, as you wash it. So what I will do is, after priming, I will again give it a light sand with fine sandpaper like 120 or 150, to sort of get rid of, knock down those raised wood fibres, and then 2 top coats and Bob's your uncle, and it will last for decades. You won't even have to touch it. So that's the idea. That's why, you know, it just makes so much sense to do this sort of stuff when you've got an old weatherboard house, with good quality timber, even if the paint is in terrible condition, it makes sense to just, sand it all back to bare timber as best as possible and then start over. And that will give you a very, very long lasting result if you do the painting properly. Okay, so that's the idea, and that's what I recommend. Anyway, hope this helps. Have a good day. Bye.